Hey there, I'm Ken, and what channel are you watching? You're watching Canadian Retro Things. Today I picked up something new for my collection. I bought a computer off of eBay that I've never owned before. Now, I did not buy this computer because it is a great gaming computer, and I did not buy this computer because it's a great computer to program on. It is neither of those. But I did buy them because, in my opinion, these are historically significant computers. So, without any more going on about this, let's just bring the box out, open it up, and take a look at what I bought. All right, let's get this package open. And here is everything I got. 2 user manuals, biting deeper into your Timex Sinclair 1000 book, power lead, cables, 16K RAM expansion, 2 Timex Sinclair 1000s, and a Timex Sinclair 1000 box. One thing I have to say is that these computers are smaller than I thought they would be. For example, here's the Timex Sinclair 1000 next to what used to be the smallest retro computer I owned, my TRS-80 MC10, both with 16K expansion packs. This is the Timex Sinclair 1000, and you may be saying to yourself, that looks familiar. That's because this is the North American release of the Sinclair ZX81 and is compatible with it, running compatible hardware and the same BASIC. This computer was released in July of 1982, a little over a year after the European release of the ZX81. The price tag was only $99.95 US, which led to its marketing strategy of saying it was the first computer under $100. It was discontinued in 1983, although it was said that they sold over 600,000 units. That brings us to an interesting relationship that this computer had with another computer company. The sales numbers may have been inflated because of Commodore. That's right, Commodore. One of its competitors helped to sell these computers. As the story goes, Timex had lowered the price of their computers to $49 US, but around the same time, Commodore was offering a $75 credit toward the purchase of a C64 for anyone that traded in their old system. This led to people going out and buying a Timex for $49 and trading it on a C64 for $75. The Timex was also responsible for Commodore dropping the price of the VIC-20 to $99.95 to match its initial release price. Enough droning on about history. Let's talk about what makes this computer tick. Under the hood, you have 2 kilobytes of memory, doubling the stock 1 kilobyte that came with the ZX81. As for a brain, this computer is running a Z80 CPU at 3.25 megahertz. As you may have noticed, there is no power switch. You just plug and unplug the power cord. There are 4 ports on the left side: power, TV, mic, and ear. Mic and ear are used to interface with a tape recorder for loading and saving programs. On the back is an edge connector, most commonly used for the 16K memory expander, but also had a cartridge connector for which there were only 4 cartridges released, or a small printer. There were also a number of homebrew items made to connect here. Unfortunately, a lack of stock on the most important peripheral, the 16K memory expander. After all, there's not a lot you could do even back in the early 80s with only 2K of memory, was one of the contributing factors to it being discontinued. And then there's the keyboard. This is not a very good keyboard at all. It's a membrane keyboard that has shortcut keys associated with each key, and you have to use those shortcuts. For example, if you want to type print, you have to hit the shortcut key for print. Spelling it out, it isn't recognized. And due to the small size of the computer, the keyboard is tiny. With some use, I may be able to get used to the keyboard, but starting out is a lot of wasted time looking for the right keys. Okay, it is time to test computer number 1. Now, one of the things that I find interesting about these is that on the back your channel selector is for channel 2 or 3. Whereas most of the computers that I've seen throughout my life are channels 3 or 4. That's just an interesting little tidbit that I noticed. Anyways, plug in the TV connector and then the power connector. Now, I went ahead and I'm just using my modern power supply for this because I don't trust the old power supplies. I did test it and it seemed to be running a little high. Not too terribly high, but high enough that I didn't want to subject these computers to it. So it should be on now. And it's got a lot of staticky sound. Connection's not great, as you can hear. But this computer doesn't output sound anyway, so let's see. It seems to be working. Let's try something. Run. And this computer seems to be working just fine. So let's test the other one. And here we are with computer number 2. Plug it in. Power it on. Okay, it seems to be working too. Oh, wait. Oh. No, it does not seem to be working properly. There's a few keys that are working, but most of them are not. So, looks like we're going to have to take this computer apart, which is good because then I can throw some of the scenes of what it looks like on the inside into the opening part of the video, which you've already watched. So congratulations, I guess you knew before I did that I was going to be taking one of these apart. So here's what's happened so far. I took my computer apart, and one of the keyboard connecting ribbons was snapped off right in the connector. So I removed that, and I cut back the connector a bit, and straightened it out, reconnected it, and then I went and tested it. Here's the footage of me testing it. Let's see if that worked. Okay, we are definitely getting the picture again. Oh. Yeah, same problem. Some keys are working, some are just giving gibberish. The problem is, of course, that I don't have the footage of me actually trimming it back and taking it apart because I think the idiot that I have running my camera was probably drunk. Look, I said I'm sorry, and I wasn't drunk. I was hungover. There's a difference. Whatever. Anyways, it wasn't recorded. That's the important part. So, it still didn't work, and I did take it apart again. Didn't film it that time. I didn't intend on filming it. I just wanted to have a look to see if it was still connected properly, but then I noticed that this is actually snapped off all the way back here, about 3/4 of the way through. So that keyboard is no good. That connector has gone brittle and broken. So I got online and I ordered myself a new keyboard membrane. This is an actual membrane for a ZX81, so it's slightly different than the one that's on here in that a couple of the keys have differences. I'll point those out later. But now we're going to change keyboard membranes, hook it up to this computer, and see if that works. So really the only difference you have between these two keyboards is rather than enter on the American version, it's got new line on the ZX81. And rather than in red there, delete, it's got rub out. I actually like rub out better. Sounds more like a mobster's computer. Still not working. Perhaps it's one of the chips. Next thing to try? Well, I mean, all the keys seem to be working now. All the keys weren't working before, but it's still giving me the garbled screen. So, next thing to try is reseating the chips, which is something I should have done while I had it apart in the first place. And again, I've got this computer back together. Let's see if it works now. No. Still doing the same thing. Means that it's probably got a bad chip or something in there. Well, at least one of them still works. There we go. One out of the two computers works so far. And on the non-working one, I have a ZX81 keyboard now, replacement keyboard on there. So that is even more incentive for me to get this thing working. So if you know what that problem might be, here's a screenshot of what it's doing. If you know what that might be causing that, let me know in the comments below. I'm also going to do some research into this. I'm going to guess probably one of the chips are bad or something, but yeah, I do want to get it working. So I hope you enjoyed my little look at the Timex Sinclair 1000 computer. Hopefully, when I can get this one working, I will have found some games for these so I can try that out because, yeah, what good are computers if you can't play games on them? Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what you can do with the liking, the subscribing, and or the commenting below because anything and everything you do is always greatly appreciated. See you next time.